Until 1921 AD, it was believed that great Indian civilizations had flourished and died only in places like Egypt and Mesopotamia. In the winter of 1921, Rakhal Das Banerjee, an officer of the Archaeological Survey of India, discovered several layers while excavating the ruins of a Buddhist stupa of 2nd century AD at a place called Mohenjo-Daro. Banerjee had stumbled upon the remains of the Indus Valley Civilization. This discovery pushed back India's history by almost 2000 years, taking it to 5000 years before Christ. The excavations carried out at different sites connected with the Indus Valley Civilization show that the people of the Indus Valley led a highly advanced urban life. The people of Mohenjo-Daro were grouped in 4 different sections: the learned class, warriors, traders and artisans, and manual laborers. The food of the people consisted of beef, mutton, pork, poultry, turtles and tortoises, but wheat was their principal article of food. Barley and palm date was also familiar. Fish was commonly used. Milk was used, and vegetables and fruits seem to have been known, though there is no positive evidence. Cotton fabrics were in common use, but wool was also used. Dress was simple. Men used a shawl which was drawn over the left shoulder and under the right arm, so as to leave the right arm free, and in the sitting posture came down to the feet. It formed the upper garment. The lower garment was like a modern dhoti. Men kept short beards and whiskers, and sometimes the upper lip was shaved. Their hair was combed backwards and was either cut short or coiled in a knot on the top of the head. Ornaments were worn by both men and women of all classes. Necklaces, fillets, armlets, finger rings and bangles were worn by both men and women, and girdles, nose studs, earrings and anklets by women alone. The rich made ornaments of gold, silver, ivory, faience and other semi-precious stones. The ornaments of the poor were made of copper, bone, shell and terracotta. People knew the art of toilet and cosmetics. Toys and amusements. Among amusements, marbles and a kind of game played with a market board and dice pieces, and dancing to the accompaniment of the drum appear to have been practiced. Hunting and fishing also formed a favorite sport. Children's toys were various, interesting and ingenious. Usually they were crude clay models of birds, animals, whistles, rattles, men and women. There were wheeled carts and chairs. Household articles. The metals known to the people of the Indus Valley were gold, silver, copper, tin, lead and bronze. The earthenware vessels of rich variety were made with potter's wheel and were either plain or painted with a slip of red ochre. Vessels of copper, bronze, silver and porcelain were known, though were very rarely used. Among other articles of domestic use may be mentioned spindles and spindle holes made of baked earth, porcelain and shell, needles and combs made of bone or ivory axes, chisels, saws, knives, sickles, fish hooks and razors made of copper and bronze. Weights and measures. People used a large number of weights. They ranged from large ones to be lifted with rope to very small ones used by dwellers. Cubical weights were most common. A bronze bar with suspended copper pans was used as a scale. It seems that the decimal system was known to the people of Indus Valley Civilization. Domestic animals. The domesticated animals such as humped bull, buffalo, sheep, pig, dog, elephant and camel, bullocks were used to pull carts. Medicines. The people had some knowledge of medicine. Cattle bone, horns of the deer and antelope, coral and leaves of neem tree have been found. All these have medicinal qualities. Weapons of war. The people mostly used axes, spears, daggers, maces and slings. Swords, shields, helmets or any other defensive weapons are conspicuous by their absence. Seals. More than 550 seals have been discovered. They are made of paste stone or statite of various colors. These are characterized by fine engravings of animals like bull, unicorn, elephant, antelope, or the like. The absence of the cow or the horse is significant. A sort of pictorial writing is inscribed over it, but the writing still remains undeciphered. The people were familiar with the pictographic system of writing, each sign standing for a particular word or object. Trade and commerce. The small size seals found there were most probably used in connection with trade. The people traded with other parts of India as well as countries of Asia, Egypt, and Crete. In exchange, they secured tin, copper, and precious stones. Art, craft, and sculpture. There were important industrial classes like the potter, the carpenter, the mason, the blacksmith, the goldsmith, the jeweler, the ivory worker, and the stone cutter. Spinning was freely practiced in houses. The potter's wheels and kiln-burnt bricks indicate the great advancement in technical knowledge. People possessed artistic skills of a high order. A few stone images found at Harappa recall the finish and excellence of Greek statues and show a high degree of development in the sculptor's art. They were good sculptors. The dancing girl. This 11 centimeter high bronze statue of the dancing girl is one of the best examples of the art of Indus Valley Civilization. High priest. This 19-inch high limestone statue is one of the few surviving stone sculptures of Indus Valley Civilization. It probably represents a high priest and gives some idea of the physical appearance of the ancient Indus people. Burial rites. Various burial rites seem to have been in use, perhaps by different stocks or tribes. Generally, there were three methods of burial: complete burial, fractional burial, and post-cremation. The ashes were sometimes placed in urns, at other times, unburned bones were collected and buried in jars. Religion. No temples or shrines have been uncovered. It appears that religious worship may have been a household rite. One of the main objects of worship of the people was Mother Goddess. Many figurines of this Mother Goddess on pottery, seals, and amulets have come to light. People believed in a female energy as the source of all creation. Along with this, a male god was also worshipped. Seals depict figures surrounded by wild animals and sitting in an erect meditative posture or the yoga postures. Lord Shiva is regarded as the Mahayogin and is styled Pashupati or the Lord of Beasts, his chief attributes being 3 eyes, 3 netra, and the Trishul. In addition to the worship of Shiva and Shakti, people followed animism. It means worship of stones, trees, and animals in the belief that these are bodies of spirits, good or evil. The peepal tree was regarded as sacred. Important sites of Indus Valley Civilization and their archaeological findings. Harappa, in the present Pakistan on the bank of river Ravi. Here, 2 rows of 6 granaries with big platform, stone symbol of lingam and yoni, mother goddess sculpture, wheat and barley in wooden mortar, dice, copper scale and mirror are found. Moreover, sculpture of dog chasing a deer in bronze metal and a red sandstone male torso have been excavated. Mohenjo-Daro. Mohenjo-Daro in present Pakistan on the river Indus consists of the citadel, the great bath, the great granary, post-cremation burial, sculpture of bearded priest, the famous bronze statue of the dancing girl and Pashupati seal. Dholavira. Dholavira is in Gujarat. It contains giant water reservoir, unique water harnessing system, stadium, dams and embankments. Inscriptions comprising 10 large-sized signs like an advertisement board. It is the latest Indus Valley Civilization city to be discovered. Lothal, Manchester of Indus Valley Civilization. Lothal is in Gujarat. It is an important site for naval trade, had a dockyard, rice husk, fire altars, painted jar, modern-day chess, terracotta, figures of horse and ship, instruments for measuring 45, 90 and 180 degree angles, practice of burial of cremated remains. Rakhi Gadi, Rakhigadi in Haryana is considered to be the largest site of Indus Valley Civilization. Granary, cemetery, drains, terracotta bricks have been found here. It is called the provincial capital of Harappan civilization. Ropar. Ropar is located on the banks of river Satluj in Punjab, India. It contains dog buried with human in oval pit burials, copper X. Ropar is the first Harappan site of independent India, first site to be excavated after independence. Balathal and Kalibangan. Balathal and Kalibangan are in Rajasthan. They contain a bangle factory, toy carts, bones of camel, decorated bricks, citadel and lower town, and fire altar. Surkotada. Surkotada is in Gujarat and contains the first actual remains of the horse bones. Banavali. Banavali is in Haryana on the dried up Saraswati river. It contains toy plough, barley grains, lapis lazuli, fire altars, oval shaped settlement, only city with radial streets and oval shaped settlements. Alamgirpur. Alamgirpur is in Meerut in Uttar Pradesh on the banks of river Yamuna. It is the easternmost site of Indus Valley Civilization. Major findings are broken blade made of copper, ceramic items and impression of a cloth on a trough. Mehergarh. Mehergarh is in Pakistan and is considered precursor to Indus Valley Civilization. Here, pottery, copper tools have been found. Chahundro. Chahundro is located in present-day Pakistan. It is the only Indus city without a citadel. Bead making factory and use of lipsticks has been found here. Kotdiji. Kotdiji is located in present-day Pakistan. Tar, statues of bull and mother goddess have been excavated from here. Suktagendor. Suktagendor is the westernmost site of Indus Valley Civilization. It is located in Pakistan. Bangles of clay have been found here. Balu. Balu is in Haryana. Various plant remains have been found here and it has the earliest evidence of garlic. Daimabad. Daimabad is in Maharashtra. It is the southernmost site of Indus Valley Civilization. Bronze sculptures, including a bronze chariot, have been discovered here. Kerala Nudaro. It is in Gujarat. It was the salt production center of Indus Valley Civilization. Kotbala. Kotbala is in modern Pakistan and is the earliest evidence of furnace. Mand. Mand is in Jammu and Kashmir and is the northernmost site of Indus Valley Civilization. Other prominent sites of Indus Valley Civilization include Mehergarh, which is in Pakistan, Desalpur in Gujarat, Pabumat in Gujarat, Rangpur in Gujarat, Shikarpur in Gujarat, Sanauli in UP, Kunal in Haryana and Karanpura in Rajasthan and also Ganeriwala in Punjab. Civil engineering in ancient India was known as Sthapatya Kala and term Vastu originally derived from the root word Vas meaning to dwell or a dwelling place. Art of architecture and construction in ancient Indian texts is called Vastu Vidya. Marvelous monuments in India are examples of Vastu Vidya which represent its advanced architectural and constructional techniques. Methodology of construction of these monuments represents harmony of structure with environment, rituals and lifestyle of people of India. The details of Vastu had been rigorously dealt across various ancient treatises like Vishwakarma's Vastu Shastra, Rishi Phrugu's Phrugu Samhita, Maya Mattam, said to be written by sage Maya Muni, Samrang Sutradhara of Bhojdev and Aparajita Prach. These technical treatises contain elaborate descriptions on the aspects of architecture and engineering. Entire universe, including our body, is composed of 5 basic elements: air, earth, fire, space and water, called Panch Mahabhut. The main principle of Vastu is to maintain the balance between dwelling structure and the elements of universe for happiness and comfort. Vastu is the science of direction that combines all the 5 elements of nature and balances them with the man and the material. This is how the arrangement of Panch Mahabhut with respect to cardinal directions has been done on a map. There are 5 basic principles on which the great edifice of the Vastu science of architecture stands. First is Bhu Pariksha, which means examination and selection of site. It is a unique method of testing the site before it is selected for the construction. The soil has to be examined for its shape, contour, odor, color, taste and touch. Second is Tik Nirnay, that is orientation. According to Indian texts of architecture, the cardinal directions hold a particular significance. The various associations are given to the 8 cardinal directions. Main aim in orientation principles of Vastu Shastra is setting of structure and its components in such a way that they may get maximum benefits from solar energy and wind. These directions are north, northeast which is known as Ishan, east, southeast known as Agni, south, southwest known as Nairitya, west and northwest known as Vayavya. Third is Vastu Purush Mandal known as Padvinyas, which means planning of various components. It constitutes mathematical and diagrammatic basis for generating design. Purush refers to energy, power, soul or cosmic man. Mandal is the generic name for any plan or chart which symbolically represents the cosmos. Padvinyas is the process in which the site is divided into various numbers of squares. The number of squares varies from single square 1 into 1 grid to 32 into 32 1084 squares depending upon type of construction, where each square is referred to be as Pad. Most common mandal is where deities are assigned to the divided squares and are named after the deity assigned. It defines stable structural grid for construction. This is the diagram of Vastu Purush Mandal and is divided into 9 into 9 equals 81 parts. The position of the 45 gods who are holding down the Vastu Purush are shown. 32 are in the external enclosures and 13 are in the internal enclosures. These symbolic gods rule various aspects of life and have certain inherent qualities. Fourth is proportion and measurement of building, known as Man and Ayadi. Man prescribes the proportionate measurements. The measurements are divided into categories such as measurement of height, breadth, width of circumference, measurement along plumb lines, measurement of thickness and measurement of internal space. Ayadi principles are useful for calculating proportion and scale of different components, principles of ratio of breadth and length, height and length, etc. And the fifth is Bhulambaman or Chand, which is the aesthetics of the building. These principles are based on movement of celestial elements like planets, sun, moon and their effects on environment, velocity and direction of wind, rainfall, volume and intensity and characteristic of soil. These principles are also derived on the basis of special characteristics and influences of elements of universe such as the magnetic field, gravitational effect of earth and galaxies in sky, light and heat of the sun, etc. It reflects Indian philosophy of life and interrelationship between human and environment.
Destruction of the Indus Valley Civilization. Once established, the Indus Valley Civilization flourished for more than 6 centuries without undergoing any significant change. Its sudden end is a piece of historical speculation. There might have been natural calamities, either a flood of the Indus or its gradual drifting away from the city might have made the place unfertile. There might have been a pandemic or an earthquake which led to the destruction of Indus Valley Civilization. There might have been invasion by nomadic tribes. Some tribes from outside India might have sacked Mohenjo-Daro and destroyed its civilization. That is how Mohenjo-Daro is also known as Mound of the Dead. In the Sindhi language, Mohenjo-Daro means moons of the dead. The name has its roots in the fact that sprawling skeletons of men, women and children were uncovered in the topmost level of the city. The bones bear sword or axe cuts. All this suggests that they met a violent death and tell the story of Mohenjo-Daro's end. There are various other videos available on Indus Valley Civilization. For watching them, please check the playlist Indus Valley Civilization. If you want to know on any other topic, please leave it in the comment box so that I can come back with it. If you have liked the video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.